an important point you made, which I took very seriously, is the idea of teacher training. Given the developments of the fourth industrial revolution, the artificial intelligence, the machine learning, the deep learning, I always feel that teachers are always left behind. Technology moves way faster. Innovations and new ways of knowing and learning move way faster, but our teachers don't receive the necessary training that they need, and that affects a lot in terms of learning. I might have a lot to say, but I think, in the interest of time, I'll give this opportunity to my co-host so that he can ask, the last set of questions.
Thank you very much, Dr. Chikumbu, Professor Victoria. I have one more last question, which I wanted to know. What are the target audience of the book?
Yes, well, there are actually quite a number. I include in this book also both statistics about the progress of Sustainable Development Goal 4 and where you can go to find more update statistics. And I examine the indicators in the Sustainable Development Goal 4. The thing which I found very sad, or, well, I won't say I didn't find it because I was involved in this process, which was really quite extensive and complex. That was that the indicators that were finally agreed upon for Sustainable Development 4 are not so much about transforming education into inclusive quality education, but it's about numbers, it's about operationalism, it's not, it's about the things you can count. And while this is important, we need to know how many more children go into school, we need to know how many more women are there. We need to also look at 4.7, which gives you the question of inclusive education as global citizenship, education for sustainable development, human rights studies, peace studies. But because I present this aspect of sustainable development goals and the Agenda 2030, I think it's an important book for policymakers. Because 193 countries have agreed to Agenda 2030. They've said, we commit ourselves to this. So if they are going to then do this, they need some historical insight of what's happened, an overview of developments, and suggestions for future prioritization, which is what I try to do in the book. So policymakers is one group. But then, of course, if you're going to change schools, you need to get the educational, I call them managers, the rectors, the headmasters, the principals, the inspectors, the evaluators. And many of them, they not all of them have been teachers. Not all of them have access to or time to do a lot of research themselves. So I think this book gives them some relevant, up-to-date criteria for motivating and assessing education and teaching. Then, of course, the teachers and the teacher trainers, which I hope would read the book.
Yes. Because
I definitely think that it gives them some insight into contemporary research and the new approaches to methodology that are going on. But I also, when we wrote the book, we considered the fact the publishers were very keen on this being written in a manner that students would appreciate and understand. So it's not written in an entirely like a research paper as such, although there are enormous amount of references and all. But it's written so that students would understand the developments of education and the needs for today and the present approaches that are being done. But I believe when you're talking about students, you have to mention the parents. Because I've been surprised. A number of the parents of the students who I have worked with have come and said, I read your book, it gave me a lot of understanding of how these challenges we're facing might be met. And then, of course, there's the interested public. I don't know if the majority of people in the world really are concerned, but education actually affects everyone in its role as a transmitter of values and of wisdom. And if we're going to modify or change the values or strengthen perhaps is more to say, because we have these values already in most societies. If it's to strengthen these values, then we need to think about it and discuss it, even over the dinner table with our friends, whether we're involved in education or not, so that we don't just don't discuss things out of our own experiences. So I would say even the interested public would find that this is something that provides material for reflection and consultation.
Amazing.
That covers just about everyone.
Amazing. Thank you so much, Professor Victoria, and thank you so much, Mr. Gundula, for such an important question. Viewers and listeners, those of you who would want to access a copy of this book, please do not forget to click the link that I'm going to put right in the description panel on the upload for this video. You've heard it for yourself. This is a book for students. It's a book for policymakers. It's a book for teachers. It's a book for everybody. So I'm going to get a copy. We are all going to get a copy. And let us not forget to get a copy. Wonderful. This is amazing. I don't know how to thank you. Mr. Gundura, what should we do for Professor Victoria? Maybe buy 100 copies.
100 copies?
Well, I'm one of these terrible people who really am not concerned about getting rich on these things. I'm more concerned about sharing the ideas with them. And you're given an opportunity to do that. So thank you from my heart.
That's more
Thank
important.
you very much.
Wonderful. We are very grateful to have had you.
The best of luck.
That's wonderful.